I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. I'm not going to start.
Yeah, all right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahawah, Kwadash. I want to say in your double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity, and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, Lord willing, with some of those men and women that believe in fear, in the name of Yahweh Bashem Shah. Hey, I'm the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson. And this lesson was inspired by this video and several other videos I came across on the TikTok platform, just showing you the characteristics of this man, Esau Edom, and Donald J. Trump, aka Nero 47. This guy, he's truly an Edomite, and you can't trust nothing that he say. Now, he's not making these decisions on his own. He's not a wild card. He's in fact, Salakia. Yeah, again, he's not a wild card. In fact, he's set up by the ruling elite to do a job, and he's doing his job. And truly, he's set up by Yahweh Bashem Shai to a job, which is to do what? To bring America to destruction. I would say the brink, but no, he's gonna bring America to total destruction. And I pulled this old school Illuminati card. All you gotta do is type in Trump Illuminati card, and this guy, he looks just like, Nero, but just like Nero. You know what I'm saying? And this guy, he's not doing his own thing, but this right here illustrates a precept, and that precept is located in the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. Matter of fact, I'll start at 20. It says, "He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him, and have broken his covenant." Right. So the devil, when he, we can use this for how he dealt with Gad when he came to the Americas, but this is how he does with all his enemies. Right. Iran, they try to make peace with this guy and come to the so-called diplomatic speaking table, but he really didn't want to hear that. Him and the state of Israel, they launched attacks on this so-called sovereign nation to bring this war, and he thinks that he's controlling the war. A lot of the rhetoric that you're hearing come from this president is really propaganda, right? And you don't really know what's happening on the ground. You don't know what's truly happening behind the scenes. You'll never get the understanding of the losses, and you're truly not going to get the impact of this whole these actions that this man started. But this is precipitating again the Third World War, right? This is the same God that said that there'll be no World War III. He said if we're smart, right? He said that he don't want to go nuclear, but this war is going to go nuclear. And again, this shows you that this man, he breaks all his covenants. He don't keep nothing that he says. He says on an up and up. So let's go back to this. It says Psalms 55 and 20. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were salted in oil, yet were they drawn swords. And you see that right here.
Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
Those were the smooth words he was kicking. But once they get in office, he doesn't care, right? He can do whatever he wants, and he's not going to be held accountable for that because it's a part of his job. So he basically has immunity by doing this in the eyes of the American judicial system. But what he's bringing America to, he's going to bring America to the door of destruction. And then Yahweh Bashem Shah is going to close it on him. Okay? He's going to be out of here, right? He's talking proud, right? War was in his heart the whole time. When he said he wasn't going to bring war, he was capping because it was in his heart, right? This is when he was running, I believe, 2024, he was running, right? And then once he got in, what did he do? He took you straight to war, man. And this is because this is prophecy. Most people don't see it, right? Yeah, you hearing wars and rumors of wars, but according to this guy, America's at war with Iran, right? America and the state of Israel is at war with Iran. Not only that, the state of Israel, they're at war with Lebanon, right? They're bombing them to hell and back right now. They just so-called had a peace treaty with them people in Gaza, and what they do? Broke that. They went in there and start bombing again. And no one is even talking about Gaza anymore. No one's talking about the kids dying. None of that. Just all this man does is bring war, right? He said he's gonna drop bombs. He says, bombs will be dropping everywhere, and then he said we're gonna take control of your government. That's what he said, right? Because this man loves war. But these are all things that were prophesied in the scriptures long before we came here, right? Matter of fact, let me get that precept real quick. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 8. And it reads, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and evil and of pestilence, right? And this is what, and when he, this is what the apostles, this is what the prophets did in the ancient world, because those things were set up for judgment. They were set up for correction, right? And these things were brought on by the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because the prophets of the Lord speak the words of the Most High and His only begotten Son, right? This is the same precept in the GNT, right? The same precept in the GNT. It says, the prophets who spoke long ago before my time and yours predicted that war, starvation, and disease would come to many nations and powerful kingdoms. It's not America, a so-called nation, a so-called powerful kingdom. It is. Isn't it a country? It is. Now, when these things come to pass, you're going to know that, like the scripture says, you're going to know that a prophet has been amongst you, right? Because these things are coming to pass. We're not telling you that it's going to be peace. We're not going to tell you that it's going to be love and it's a time to gather and do all these things that feel good. We ain't in that time. We're in a time of great death. We're in a time of great judgment. We're in a time of war. And that's how you know a true prophet. Because when these words come to truth, you're going to know that a prophet was amongst you. Again, verse 8 in the GNT, it says, the prophets who spoke long ago before my time and yours predicted that war, starvation, and that's what's coming to this place. Because famine follows war. And people are going to be starving. And disease will come to many nations and powerful kingdoms. But a prophet who predicts peace can only be recognized as a prophet when the Lord has truly sent. When that prophet's prediction come true. So anybody that's telling you, we're in a time of peace and it don't come true, that's going to let you know right there that they're a false prophet. But a prophet that's telling you that war, death, destruction, pestilence, and all these things are coming to these nations, and these things happen, then you should know that, hey man, that's a man of the Lord right there. Right? Because this ain't given to everybody. Right? This is another precept. This is Yahweh Shai speaking in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? Because we ain't in the end just yet. We're in the end of the end, but the end is ultimately when Yahweh Shai comes back, destroys Babylon, saves his elect out of Babylon, right? After destroying the militaries over there in the Middle East. All of this stuff that's happening right now is going to gather these troops, and they're going to go to the Middle East. They're going to go there and fight. It's going to be a world war. Right? In the NLT it says, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. That's what you're hearing right now. They don't want to say that they're in war. They're trying to pacify it and using that propaganda. No, it's just only something that's going to happen for a couple of days and we're just trying to figure it out. No, this is going to get worse. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Exactly. Because what else got to happen? The MOC, the mark of the beast got to be pushed out, right? The mark of the beast has to be pushed out. That's a major prophecy, right? Because once that happens, we already know that time is we're seconds away from Yahweh Shai return. You know what I'm saying? So when you see these wars, It's not time to panic, right? It's not time to get all scared. Oh man, what am I gonna do? Nah, there's a couple other things gotta happen. I.e., the mark of the beast has to be instituted. It has to be mandatorily pushed on all the world, right? So these things gotta happen. Okay. But war is upon us, right? War is upon us, right? And none of their propaganda can stop that from happening, right? So you got
who would be eligible and ineligible for the draft?
Very good question. All U.S. Men, that is citizens, non-citizens, even undocumented immigrants, are required by federal law to register with the Selective Service Administration under the age of 20, between ages of 18 and 26. So if you're in that time frame, you are required by law to register with the Civil Service Administration. They keep your name in a database and a roster, and eligibility for student loans is dependent on registration. So if you're a male and you're 18 years old, you need to make sure you register with the Civil Service Administration, and your name is available for access should a mobilization be required. Military draft has been non-existent for over 50 years. We have an all-volunteer military force for 5 decades plus. 1973, I believe July is when the authorization for the draft officially ended. It would take a new act of Congress to restart authorization and appropriations to fund and logistically implement a draft. So I think it's highly speculative. You would probably need to see something along the lines of World War III, either a conflict with Russia or a conflict with China, or some other unforeseen national emergency before the United States were to fully implement the protocols in place for a draft. So I think...
And that's right. And you're going to see that because Russia is going to get in this war. China is going to get into this war. Right? And they're going to need bodies. And the scriptures speak about the men that are going to be lost in this war. Right? Especially the young men. This guy said, 18 to 26? You're out of here, man. And not only that, they actually pull people out of prisons. I'll prove that. Now, this is something that I found on a Google AI. It says, I asked during a draft, would the U.S. use prisoners? And it says the U.S. generally does not use men currently in prison for a military draft, as incarcerated individuals are typically exempt from registration, while convicted felons are generally disqualified from service. Exceptions have existed historically, such as during World War II, and some judges have previously offered jail or the army options. Current policy: incarcerated individuals are not eligible for the draft. The U.S. Army generally disqualify individuals with felonies, especially those under confinement, parole, or probation. Exceptions and choice. While not a formal policy, historically, some judges have offered defendants the choice between serving in the military or going to prison. This is generally considered a practice from a past rather than current. Draft resistance. In some cases, such as in the Vietnam War, individuals who refused to be drafted for moral reasons were sent to federal prison. Right? But I saw something that it did say that they, matter of fact, so I asked the question during World War II, were prisoners sent into war? It says during World War II, the United States did not generally draft inmates, but as manpower needs increased, the military allowed over 2,000 to 10,000 plus convicted criminals to enlist directly from prison, you see, or via parole to serve in the armed forces. Others were used for labor as prison newspapers and inmate initiatives supported the war effort, right? So not only do you got to worry about the young men, not only do you got to worry about the young men being put into this war, they're gonna start pulling people from prisons, man. And I guarantee you that them draft ages is gonna go up because they're gonna need bodies, right? And this is a prophecy. A draft is coming, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, in the latter verses, right here. It says 25 and 26. Isaiah 3 and 25 and 26. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war. Right? In the NLT it says the men of the city will be killed with the sword, and her warriors will die in battle. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground, right? Because she ain't going to have no man to defend her. And that's where you get Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And it says, in the day, in that day, so few men will be left, right? 7 women will fight. 7 is a complete number of women will fight for each man, saying, let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name so we won't be mocked as maids. Now, there's a verse in the MSG version of the Bible on what is it called? The Bible Hub, right here, the Gateway, Bible Gateway, and the same verse, the book of Isaiah, right? Isaiah 4, right? Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. It says that will be the day when 7 women will gang up on one man, saying, we'll take care of ourselves, get our own food and clothes, just give us a child, make us pregnant, so we will have something to live for, man. Right? And that's because it's going to be so bad out here. It's going to be so bad out here because of this draft. And so many men going to die in the war. So many men. The scriptures speak about it in the book, the Apocrypha. It tells you that these women are going to be lamenting, having no bridegroom, having no protector, because all the men are going to die in the war. And if they don't die in the war, they're going to die from famine. Right? So this is where we at. And you don't see it now. The majority of the world don't want to see it now. Y'all playing games. You got these people in the military playing games, especially your women. And guess what? You women gonna get drafted to the war because you women are serving right now, right? You got this right
President
here.
Trump is going.
We got the choppers now. You better act Iraq. Yeah, you better act Japan. Korea, you ain't safe. We got something for your man. We ain't never. We got the choppers now. You better act Iraq. Yeah, you better act.
You got niggas dancing, playing games, right? Look at this shit.
Fuck Iran, bitch, we did World War I, and we did World War II. Bitch, we'll do this shit again. Iran, we ain't scared of you. No cap.
These people gonna die, bro. This is your fighting force, bro. These are the people that you are sitting to fight on your behalf. The fucking nigga women and these sodomite men. And guess what? You YNs are going too.
Fuck Iran, bitch. Fuck Iran, bitch. We did. Fuck Iran. Fuck Iran. We got the choppers. Fuck Iran, bitch. We did.
These are soldiers, bro. These supposed to be your professionals, bro. Children, bro. And they gonna die. Every last one of them, man. They gonna take the chip and they gonna fucking die, bro. Right? They gonna die. They gonna die a horrible death. And see, these people have never seen war before, especially these women. They ain't been deployed in a war environment. Man, these bitches gonna be crying, bro. I seen it with my own eyes, bro. As women collapsed from fear when they thought they was gonna fucking die, bro. This shit ain't a game. But finally it's set in great dignity. This is a fighting force.
Fuck Iran, USA. Fuck Iran, bitch. We did World War I, and we did. Fuck Iran, and I'm screaming. Fuck Iran, bitch. We did World War I, and we did World War II. Bitch, was.
Yeah, in World War III you're gonna die. The World War III is gonna cause America to be destroyed. You niggas out here you gonna perish, bro. Right? This is part of the color. This is a serious time, man. This is not a time to be playing around, but this shows you the mindset of the people, of the military, of the current war fighters. They're weak. They're done out here, bro.
We got the choppers now. Run it.
President Trump is
got shit like this going on.
President Trump has gone from this
You're not going to have a war with me. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
to this.
Bombs will be dropping everywhere. We're going to annihilate their navy.
The strikes on Iran are the biggest military operation of Trump's presidency. The aim, the White House says,
is to crush the Iranian regime and end the nuclear threat.
You're not
And
going
this
to end the nuclear threat. How you going to end the nuclear threat when you still got Russia? You still got your allies that's going to burn this bitch down, bro. And it's not just, the catalyst is not going to just be, a small conflict, bro. This shit is going to involve all the militaries of the world. Something big is going to happen, especially when they invade the state of Israel, because it will be invaded. It says it in the scriptures. Ezekiel 38. They're going to fight, right? It's just taking a little bit. We're in the early throes of a hot war, right? Talking about they're going to end a nuclear threat. You ain't going to end a nuclear threat. Because the nuclear threats is not going to be a threat. It's a promise. Yahweh Shai has promised that this place is going to burn. This is the book of Jeremiah. Let me see. 50 verse 7. Jeremiah 51 and 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh Shai's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven. Right? And these people, they're going to start trying to get up out of America because they see her judgment is imminent. Right? They're going to abandon her. Right? It has lifted up to the skies. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Most High. Right? Make the arrows socket. Make bright the arrows. Gather the shields. Yahweh Shah raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which is the Russians, man. For his device is against Babylon. See, Yahweh Shah is against Babylon. To do what? To destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shah, the vengeance of his temple. Who is the Lord's temple? The children of Israel, starting with the elect. The sons of Israel, starting with the elect. Right? So here it is. Yahweh Shah is already deemed. Yahweh Shah is already deemed for this place to be destroyed. And this guy talking about they gonna take out the nuclear threat with Iran. You simple-minded. You try to go around the word of the Heavenly Father, which don't go out void. You can't beat prophecy. War is coming. War is here. Right? And it's only going to get worse. Right? Because this place will fall. And it's going to fall by nuclear fire and chariot fire. And you can do nothing to stop that.
Violate their navy.
The strikes on Iran are the biggest military operation of Trump's presidency. The aim, the White House says, is to crush the Iranian regime and end the nuclear threat.
You are a nuclear threat. This place is going to burn. And a third world war is going to happen. And you niggas ain't going to be rapping and singing about we did World War I and we did World War II. Nigga, because you niggas talking about we. Like this place is for you. The same country that destroys and oppresses you, you niggas go out and fight for it and die for it. And a lot of veterans, they're speaking against this place, man. Even veterans are speaking against this so-called war, but you ain't going to stop it. It don't matter who speaks against it. Yahweh Shah is for it. Okay? And so I just wanted to bring this out real quick. Hope you're edified with that. I'll say shalom on to the next. Shalom.